Hi, everybody. Lori here. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, I wanted to share a project I made using several of the brand new products that just came out in the May release with Mama Elephant. Now, this is a hoot. I was able to, customize my own silly sentiment, and I used the pop-up trio dies to make a pop-up card on the inside. So there's a lot of fun going on. We're starting with a panel of Nina Solar White, and I'm taking some Post-it tape, masking off a 1/2 inch border around the panel. I'm taking this Rainwater pigment ink. This is a Mama Elephant ink. These pigment inks blend like I'm seriously, you ever had butter and it sat out and you go to make grilled cheese and you just want to dance a jig because the butter is so perfectly soft and it's so easy to slather on your bread and it just makes you happy. You ever tried to smear cold butter? It does not make you happy. Anyway, that is what these Mama Elephant inks, they blend like warm butter or room temperature. Let's just say room temperature. Okay, so now I am adding a bit of grass that I die cut using one of the grasses from the Grassy Trio die set that just came out as well. And I die cut that. And now I have die cut a bunch of little Woodland Gifts critters. This is from the Woodland Gifts stamp set, and it has coordinating dies. So I've die cut the squirrel, the raccoon, a mushroom, a couple flowers, and I'm just quickly coloring these in with my Copics. You can see the caps of the markers there, and it will tell you the colors I use. These are kind of my go-to tan, brown, critter colors. I also use these colors for hair a lot. They blend great when I use these, four together. It gives you a real nice light into the dark and it works. It's working for me right now. Now I'm adding a red mushroom. And when I was coloring in this mushroom, I thought to myself, do red mushrooms really even exist? Or is this just like a storybook, Disney movie type of a thing that we got going on here? I mean, anytime I can add a pop of red, I'm always happy to do so. But I wasn't sure that there, but you know what? I Googled red mushroom, and actually, there are red mushrooms with white dots, and they look just like this. They're called Amanita. What's it called? I just looked this up. Amanita muscaria. I'm probably not saying that right. But anyhow, these red mushrooms really do, and they're cute. They are cutie patootie little mushrooms. And if I was a squirrel, I would sit on one as well. Okay, so now I'm coloring in my raccoon. Now, this is always tricky when you're working with grays because I like to keep my images, I don't want to get too dark. I always like to fade it into really, really light. And I just realized when I was doing this that my C1 is running out of ink. It's a tragedy. I'm sometimes I feel like I'm playing the lottery with my Copic markers. I have a little bit, like a handful of refills, but at any given time, one of the 100 markers, I don't even know if I have 100. Let's say I have 50. I don't even know how I have, never counted. But at any given time, one of those markers is going to run dry. And am I going to have a refill for it? I mean, it just never ends, I'm telling you, with these Copics. So obviously, I don't have a C1 refill. Now I got to order one and I'm going to have to wait. And in the meantime, I'm going to, I hope I don't have to color something that's going to need C1. You feeling me? You feeling what I'm going through? These are the kind of things that stress me out. Well, not really, but a little bit they do. Okay, so now I'm adding some foam tape to my woodland critters, kind of tucking them into the grass, and I've got that blue sky behind, adding a few of the flowers. Now, the reason I'm adding some flowers is because I'm going to customize my own little sentiment. I am making, the poems, roses are red, violets are blue. Well, I'm doing a take on that. I'm using the new Bella Letters stamp set. This is a fun stamp set, and you can do so many things to customize your sentiments, whether you want to put a name on it for somebody you're giving it to, or you want to be crazy like me and add your own poem. So I'm doing roses are red, violets are blue, and then the inside will crack you up. Now, this kind of took some time. I sped it up, but I needed to know the spacing of how this was going to fit. So I stamped it off on a scratch piece cardstock and held it up so that I'd know how to center it. Now, I'm stamping each one of these letters individually, and I'm not sure if this is the quickest way to go. You might be able to just lay out each one of your letters if you had enough of each one and, stamp them all at one time. But I will say this, if you do that, your letters will be spaced, because those acrylic stamps can only get so close. They've got a bit of a border, or, of acrylic around each letter, so you can only get the letters so close. And that's why I did mine individually, because I really wanted to get my letters real close and tight together. You can see as well, I'm using this Post-it tape to make sure that I stamp my letters nice and straight and I don't start going uphill with them or downhill with them. I tell you what, I use this Post-it tape on every single card I make. I don't know how I would live without it. It's such a necessity for a card maker. You use it for masking off borders, you use it for holding your card down, and on and so forth. Okay, so here's an insert panel that we need to make to create our pop-up card. You have to do a separate panel to create your pop-up card because it's going to make little die cuts. Now, I'm going to mask off a 1/2 inch border because this is going to kind of stay consistent with the front of my card. I'm doing that subtle blue ink blended sky with that rainwater again. It's just kind of mimicking what I had on the front because I'm going to make another little scene on the inside with a bear and a bunny. And I already went ahead and stamped my bear and bunny and colored them in. I didn't want to drag it out. You saw me color the squirrel and the raccoon. Now, here are the pop-up trio dies. This is what they look like. I took a piece of Post-it tape, put it on the back, so I could line up that score line exactly with the crease of the card. So now that I know where my critters where I want them to go, say I want my bear to go there, my bunny to go there, then I can line up that pop-up and I know exactly where I want it to go. I know exactly where the crease, the score line will be. I'll do one more smaller one for the bunny and put that score tape on right where the score line is. Line it up with the bunny and line it up with the crease on your panel. And this is so easy to do. It looks complicated at first, but once you get going, you realize how simple it is. And now you have two little pop-up thingamajiggies to adhere your little critters to, or anything that you want to pop up. You could do so many different things. This is really fun, and it's a great surprise when you open the card. I haven't actually shown this to any of my kids yet, but I think they'll probably get a pretty good kick out of this. I did show it to my husband and he laughed, but he wasn't laughing so much about the pop up. He was laughing about my poem. And you'll see her in a minute what I did. So I am just adhering that bear. And once you press it down, then you can really firmly adhere it. And then I'll do the bunny on the other side. I'm using that multi-matte medium glue. I've got that needle tip that I added. The cap on there gives you a really, really fine application, which is just great all the time, every day. So we got our bear and our bunny. And then I'm going to add a tiny little heart to the bunny's hand. So he's handing the bear some love. Yes, indeed, he is. Because that bear looks like he might need a little love, doesn't he? He's kind of got an expression on him like, yeah, I mean, you might want to hand him a heart. Okay, so here's the rest of my poem. I'm going to stamp. I'm not going to show everything because you already seen how I do this, one letter at a time. But it says, bacon is awesome and so are you. So the front of the card is roses are red, violets are blue. Bacon is awesome and so are you. And that is what my husband laughed. He's like, where did you ever see this poem? Well, of course, you know where I saw the poem, Pinterest. And I was looking, what can I stamp that would be funny to go along with these woodland critters? And it just occurred to me that when I saw the flowers and the woodland gift stamps, I thought, I'll do roses or red, violets or blue poem and try to find a funny one. So I was searching on Pinterest a funny roses or red, violets or blue poem. Well, it's easier said than done. It probably would have been quicker for me to just make one up myself, but I don't think I would have ever thought of bacon. And I'm not really entirely sure that bacon is awesome and so are you even relates to woodland critters. But we're just going with it because I bet you that bear would love a side of bacon. There's a little cup of honey image that comes in the stamp set, but I bet that bear could probably dive right into a side of bacon. Am I right? I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't love bacon? So this card's finished. Look at bacon is awesome and so are you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you next time.